Our first panel this afternoon consists of 3 maintenance guys across the state. And we've got a list of questions here. They're going to kind of share their district experiences. To my left here, my immediate left, David Morren. He's a district maintenance engineer from Dallas. He's a graduate of Texas Tech University. Dave is currently the district maintenance engineer working closely with others in the selection and programming of candidate projects to help develop and maintain the district 4-year pavement plan. He has oversight responsibilities of all routine maintenance contracts, RMC specification and estimates, and assist in administering the contract's budget. On the far end, we have Tomas Trevino. Tomas is the Director of Operations for the Corpus Christi District. Tomas graduated from Texas A&I University with a BS degree in civil engineering in December of 1991. After a short stint with the Washington DOT, he moved back to Texas and began with TxDOT 92 at the Centenary office as an engineering assistant. He's worked his entire TxDOT career in the Corpus District in many different positions, among them including geometric design engineer, area engineer, maintenance engineer. He oversees the district's maintenance, traffic, and ferry operations. Tomas and his wife Rosa, his wife Rose, have 3 boys and are involved in numerous church and 4-H activities. In the middle, we have Carl Johnson. He's the Director of Operations for Brownwood District. Carl also graduated from Texas Tech University in 1989 with a BS in Construction Engineering Technology. He worked 6 years for 2 different heavy highway contractors before coming to TxDOT. In 1995, he started in the Lampasas area office and was involved in all aspects of maintenance, construction, and design. In June 2001, he accepted a position in the Brownwood District Operations where he served as engineering assistant, transportation engineer, and later transportation engineer supervisor. He was licensed as a professional engineer in 2007, promoted to the Brownwood District Director of Operations in August of 2012, where he currently holds that position. Let's give them a round of applause. And I suppose we're applauding because they all graduated from college, accredited universities. None of them from A&M. Okay, so we're going to start. Y'all have any opening comments, or you want me to just get right into these questions I have?
Go for it.
All right, we'll start with the questions. And we'll start with, they told me don't change the order of the questions and don't change the order of the people I call on. So I'm gonna stick with that. I won't change. So we'll start here with David. And David, I'm going to ask you to describe your district methods for assessing roadway conditions, to prescribe and schedule preparation measures for resurfacing.
Okay, generally what we start out with is when we get our yearly scores for our PMI scores, we take and we'll analyze that, and we break down and get an average score for the section of roadways that we have. And one of the things that I look at, I prefer to seal roads that have a condition score of 70 or better. Anything below that, we try to go ahead and program that into our 4-year plan. But we do that in combination with our visual surveys of the roadway, where we have construction projects that have been completed in years past. Then as we drive those and look at them, we see the pavement starting to oxidize. Then we go ahead and get that scheduled into our seal coat program as well.
Okay. Carl, same question. Do I need to read?
No, it's okay. Okay. One of the things we do in Brownwood is we use PMIS scoring as well. We do have seal coat cycle in Brownwood. We try hard to keep cycles on our roads, and we use the 4-year plan map. We print that map out for every maintenance section to use, and they can see what's coming up in front of them. They'll use the PMI scores, condition score, distress, and ride. But each of the roads that are on the cycle, they know those are in front of them to do this year for next summer seal coat. And then if there's any outliers, they'll work on those as well. Visual surveys, we do driver roads. We do have a road team. We try to get together no less than once a year, twice if we can get it done. And we'll drive all the roads and look and make modifications based on our rides, visual checks. That's about it.
Tomas?
Yeah, got a little too close. Usually what we do is We schedule ride-arounds with all our maintenance supervisors, and they give us their rating as far as candidates. We from the district have our own rating, and then we put that in a matrix, and we use our ADT, we use our functional class, and we use the last PM done on that roadway, and come up with a matrix for these seal coat selections. We do a visual inspection. We also use our PMIS scores and include that in the matrix, and that's how we select our candidates. We make sure our maintenance supervisors have their candidate list by the spring to give them a whole 12 months before they so they can prep the road for next year's seal coat.
Okay. So if I follow up with a question here, I want to verify with and I'm sorry it's not written down, but David, who all is on the assessment team with you when y'all are doing that ride?
A lot of times what we have is there's daily rides that's done by the administration, including the DE, Deputy District Engineer, Director of Operations, the Area Engineer, and the Section Maintenance Supervisor. They've been doing those across our district for quite some time now, and so there's evaluations that go in with that. And then obviously other groups go. I've ridden our maintenance administrator rides, and so there's a combination of people that we have that are constantly looking at our roadways.
Okay. Carl, who all's in your evaluation?
Well, generally, who's represented is each office, so we'll have maintenance supervisor representation, area engineer representation, district maintenance representation, usually myself, and design office representation. And our design engineer has been starting to go with us, has been very helpful, and our TP&D will go as well. So we try to represent each office of the district to do that, and then we mix it up.
Okay.
From year to year.
Tomas?
We have our area engineer and our maintenance supervisors. Of course, myself, my assistant goes with me, and we have a person we have delegated in our office that handles our seal coat contract preparation, and he goes with us too. So usually 5 people in the car.
Okay, good. So what I'm hearing is every district, so it's not the same people, but everybody has some prescribed method and some prescribed teams that are okay, good. Appreciate it. Second question. What preparation methods and techniques are y'all using for your pavement preservation projects?
Well, ours kind of varies. I know we have multiple questions, and this will kind of overlap another one, but some of our techniques that we have is done through contracts, and it's also done with in-house forces. What we've done is we've put together a standard to go along with for our contracts, and that standard has basically the item 351. And when you read the spec book, there's I think 4 surface types that go with that, and then there's some other criteria. And so we had bid codes generated for item 351 for the type of work that we're going to be doing. So from that, on our detail, we have for the different circumstances that we come into, we have a 10-inch HMAC Type B with a 2-inch HMAC Type D overlay on that. And that right there is used for very short locations. You find a location that you have a deep distress, it may only be 10 feet long, 5 feet wide. Well, we're not going to go out there and tear out a whole lot of existing pavement that is good, but we'll go in there in a localized repair location to do something like that for a full depth hot mix. And then we have a 10-inch cement stabilized base with 2% cement with a 2-inch Type D overlay for some larger areas. And then we have a 12-inch Type D with a 1-course surface treatment. We have a 12-inch cement stabilized base with 2% cement with a 1-course surface treatment. And then we have the 12-inch cement stabilized base, 2% cement with a 2-course surface treatment. And the difference between the 1 and the 2-course gives our sections, I guess, flexibility with the funding allocation that they receive and the number of roadways that they have for that year's cycle for their seal coat. We'd prefer that they'd come in and do the 2nd course in-house, but depending on the time frame that we get that project completed, there's just certain roadways that a 1-course will not stand up over time, so we go ahead and let the contractor put a 2-course on that. So all that's enveloped into one standard plan that we submit out. And the level of distress that we have on each roadway is what determines pretty much what is selected in advance. Find our pre-identified needs, select that, put that to a set of plans. Then we also have our in-house forces working. And with that, you know, obviously we do BOMAG work, we reshape our deep distresses. We'll do some LRA, blade on, and some shallow distresses. And then obviously it's our patching. We have crack seal that we do every year in every section that has seal coat. And so we try to do those in the winter months to start that, typically sometime in November, and have our crack seal completed by the end of February.
Okay, so just to make sure, item 351 is flexible pavement repair, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Carl?
In Brownwood, our primary method of preparation is level up work, blade level up work for ride, and we do base failure repair as well. We use a asphalt zipper, which is an attachment on a large loader. It's basically a milling machine or a BOMAG. It attaches to the loader bucket. It's got its own motor on it. We'll use that to either plane a road, take knots out, or you can go 12, 14 inches deep with it and use it for dig outs. Pretty much the sections will follow our seal coat plan. The zipper has been a big tool for us to speed some processes up. You know, we're also preparing the edge of the roadway. We'll cut back the shoulders, and then we'll do edge repair as well. You know, the summer, winter before the seal coat in the summer coming, and then we do crack seal as well. You know, we'll crack seal November, December, January time frame, a year and a half before seal coat. So crack seal that I'm doing this fall is not for 17 seal coats, for 18 seal coat. So we're trying to stay 18 months ahead on the crack seal and let it cure. So that's primarily what we do in Brownwood, and all that's with in-house forces. I am trying one contract this year of a blade level up base failure repair by contract. I did get a contractor on board for that, and he's starting this month. So we'll see how that works for us. We generally don't have enough money to contract that kind of work out, but one county needed a little extra help for the load that's coming for them, so we're going to give it a shot and see how it works this time.
Okay, thank you. Tomas?
Well, we do much of the same thing. We have our crack seal contracts, and then we do a lot of in-house blade level ups using either CC or FS or DS material. We have the ability, because we do have a milling machine, we do have a lay-down machine in-house. So we do hot mix base repairs with ordering hot mix and doing it in-house. Also, we have the ability to address some of this distress using contract mill and fills. Each area office is given a contract mill and fill to address some of these distresses before seal coat comes along.
Okay. So the next question is probably just a follow-up basically to that one. What materials are y'all using for repairing level ups? David?
Yeah, we use LRA basically.
Yeah. LRA.
You know, shallow stuff, you know, shallow distresses, we use LRA. If it's deep distress, then yes, we have that capability to come in with a hot mix, and for the short locations that we have, we'll use a full depth hot mix. We don't prefer it, but there's times that we have to do that. Yes, sir.
So while everybody's listening, do you have a definition, the difference between the shallow and a deep distress, or is that just something y'all identify at the time in the field?
We identify it. A lot of times if we start seeing rutting that's over 2 inches, then yeah, that's pretty much going to be a deep distress.
Okay, gotcha.
We're using the family of LRA mixes plus plant mixed, hot mix coal type D, type B. We've been using some B for some of our failure repairs, and then flexible base as well. Having some challenges getting LRA into the district in a timely manner, so that going to the plant mixes have been helpful for us to get our work done a little bit quicker.
We're primarily using LRAs for all our blade level ups. we've got here recently, because the oil prices are so low, we've gotten real good prices on hot mix. So we're doing a lot of base repairs with hot mix for our shallow distressed areas.
Okay, so I heard all three of you mention crack seal. David, I think I heard you say fall, winter, maybe you would so you could seal it that summer. So roughly 5 to 6 months curing time. Is that?
Yes, sir. Some of our roadways are year and a half out in advance. You know, or 2 winters before, but most of them are going to be the winter just before we seal.
Yeah. And Carl, if I heard you correctly, it was a year and a half.
Right.
Okay. Tomas, I don't know that I paid attention close enough to. Do y'all have a time frame?
Why, thank you,
seal?
Michael. No, it's usually.
I was thinking about my next question.
It's usually about a year.
Okay.
With the issues we've been having with the oil field, we go over where the guys are at on their level up each maintenance supervisors meeting, and if I have to move men and equipment from one section to other sections, then I do that, just to try and get these roads taken care of well in advance of our seal coaters.
Moving on to the fourth question here: How far in advance of resurfacing do you ideally like to get this all your level up work done? Is that?
Well, for us, we like to spend early in the fiscal year in Dallas. It's a lot of our work is contract, and so to help us with our budget allocation, we do like to start spending early. So we're still working in the summer, June, July, and August. I think we even had some sections start in April and May for next year's seal coat, that they were getting the prep work done. But we'll continue that, and then we go pretty heavy in the first 3 months of the new FY when we have our new funding allocation, and we can take off and get a lot of work done at that time. So yes, we're anywhere from 6 months to a year that we prefer to have all of our roads prepped and ready to go.
Well, for Brownwood, our goal each summer is to be finished with 98% of all the work by Thanksgiving. Some years we make it, some years it's challenging depending on the weather of the summer. This year's been a little more challenging. We've had quite a bit more rain in Brownwood District than we normally get. And then the flooding situation in May set some of them back. But Thanksgiving is our goal, and then what the guys will do in the spring, they'll come in and do touch-up work in the spring. Generally speaking, our maintenance seal coat will start the first week of May. That generally get the same contractor, and that's when he likes to hit us, which is great for us. So Thanksgiving's the cutoff date.
Okay. Mom?
I'd like to be 6 months in advance. Our season starts a little bit earlier. Sometimes they've started as early as late April. But usually we try and get it done. We would like to get it done by December, but we have spilled over into February.
Okay. And when you say your season, you're talking about your seal coat season starts in April.
Right.
I didn't know it ever closed.
Yeah,
Does it ever get cold enough that you can't seal?
They're sealing right now.
So, we'll follow on here. David, how much of y'all's prep work's done in-house? I know you mentioned contracts. Do you have a split?
We do. It's obviously Dallas County is 100% contract,
Right.
just due to the traffic that we have. But once we get out to our other counties that we have, it'll range from 50 to 75% of contract versus in-house, depending on the section and how many roads they have selected and the time frame of can we get it all completed at the time we would like to have it prepped. But by all means, it's probably 50 to 75% range with the other sections.
So, Dallas County gets 90% of your budget, so the rest of it goes to rural areas, or how does that break?
Fortunate in Dallas County, we don't have that many roadways that are actually sealed in Dallas County.
Oh,
So it's 2, you know, roughly, and so we don't have to worry about that so much. But other prep work to keep the roads in a good condition, you know, even the patching and the crack seal and all that is still we still take care of those roads in Dallas County with those type measures.
Carl?
Brownwood, primarily in-house work, Michael. We'll have a need on occasion, and we'll do some mill and fill. We'll hire that out. We don't have that capability in the district. You know, as I said a minute ago, we're trying with a contractor to do some level up and base repair. But that's kind of an experimental basis right now. But most of it's in-house work. That's kind of a bread and butter of what we do in Brownwood.
I thought I saw you glance over at Tomas when he said he had milling inlay in-house. I thought you kind of...
Yeah, he's got some machines and some expertise.
Tomas, how much in-house versus contract?
I think we probably do probably 90% in-house, 10% by contract. Much like Carl, we have a large metropolitan area, and then we have 9 counties that are rural. So a lot of that's just blade level up, that type of PM work.
All right. So coming back to, I guess question number 6. Let's talk about our seal coat program. David, you mentioned earlier that you prefer to do in-house seal. What's your split on in-house seal versus contracted seal?
Well, I guess to clarify, our prep work is that split with the contract, but as far as contracting out the seal coat itself, it's 100%, unless it's a spot seal that we're doing to seal our maintenance patches and getting ready for the seal coat. We'll do that in-house. Several years ago, Kaufman County did some seal coats in-house on full length of road, full width and full length, but it's the last 3 years we've done 100% contract for seal coats.
So one of the questions that comes up pretty regular on your in-house seal, how are you putting your rock out? Are you using tailgate spreaders, or you use chip spreader, or both?
So, both.
Okay. So you still use
yes.
spreader?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, well, for that, I would say we're using our chip spreaders for our spot seals. I mean, our tailgates for our spot seals, but then we've got a chip spreader if we were to do something else, and then we do our own in-house for, I know it's not part of the seal coat program, but we've been using chip spreader and stuff like that to keep our maintenance yards intact and whatnot. So we do have that capability in-house to use it when we need it.
Good. Carl?
For us, we contract all of our long line seal coat. We do spot seal in-house. I'm probably, majority of the maintenance sections are doing that. You still have a few that are not doing their own spot seal. But the guys that are spot sealing will rent a chip spreader and do that. And occasionally we'll have a road where they'll do, a little bit longer than what would be considered a spot. They may do a mile, maybe 2 miles or something for whatever reason. But sometimes that's because our seal coat program missed a little section here and there, so we're trying to clean all those up and get them all tied together. But then contract work will take care of the majority of our long line seal coat.
So what edge seals, y'all do any of those in-house, or?
Well, we'll just do the whole width of the roadway. Okay. We're not doing specific edge seals. Right.
Tomas?
We primarily contract all our seal coats. We do some stuff in-house just for patches and strip seals. We have 2 chip spreaders. One of them has been parked in Carson City for the past 4 years because they use it almost daily for all their patches. The majority of it's contracted out.
Okay. Okay, I think we heard at least Carl talk about this next question, but we'll get everybody's perspective here. So, are you planning your resurfacing projects based on visuals or cycle?
We do both. As far as if we were going to do an overlay, we were looking at our PMIS scores. We're looking at the road condition, trying to figure out how long it's going to last, and then we'll incorporate that into our 4-year plan. As far as our seal coat, here in Dallas, we've moved to a 5-year seal coat cycle. So that it's kind of easy when we're sitting there figuring that out. determining which roads are going to be into the cycle, and that's incorporated into our 4-year plan. So we really have 1 year that's laying out there, but we have to analyze it every year, because when a job comes out of construction, then we want to start looking at that. And once that mix starts oxidizing, starts turning gray, most of the time it's a light gray within a couple of years, then we definitely want to make sure that we get it on and try to get that sealed 5 years after we've bought the project. So it's an 8 to 10 year cycle. That'd be maybe more of an overlay type project, but for our seal coat, we're on a 5-year cycle.
Okay, interesting. Carl, go ahead. I know you spoke about this a little bit, but
Yeah, I'll get a little deeper on our cycle there in Brownwood. What we're trying to do in Brownwood is we have a section of interstate in Eastland County. It's 40 miles. We try to do the interstate on a 6-year cycle, and then we'll try to do what we consider in Brownwood our major roadways on a 7-year cycle, and then our minor roadways on an 8. That's our goal. Takes quite a bit of money out of our budget to do that, and we've committed last year and this year coming up to do it. One tool that we've developed a seal coat database, and it makes it pretty easy to pull out last year sealed, what the road is, all the mailbox turnouts, driveways, and everything in there. We pull that out of the database in a format that can easily be put on a plan sheet and made into the plans. So it's been several years working to get that together. Now it's fully functional now. As long as we update it at the end of every year seal coat, we're in good shape. It also has asphalt types on there that we used whenever it was sealed last time. We'll add a road. One road may have to fall out in a year because it's in better shape than one that's come in that's not, and we need to go ahead and seal it. We may not have the money to do both, so juggle it just a little bit based on other factors, but primarily we're trying to follow our plan, and it's helpful to the maintenance sections to keep a plan, keep a cycle, so that they see what's coming and they can plan accordingly as well.
Tomas?
Well, when I came on board, we had a $7 million seal coat program, and we ramped that up to $15 million. Looking at our PMIS scores, we were having a lot of problems with cracking. The district as a whole had decided to use a 7622 binder, which is really good for rutting, but once it starts cracking, it really cracks. So in ramping up our seal coat program, what we've done is we've kind of broken that up into different types of seal coats. We've done the hot rubber seal, so we got a hot rubber seal program, and then we have about a $5 million Cat 1 seal coat and a $5 million RMC seal coat that we do. Again, just trying to address some of the cracking issues we're having. Much like David mentioned, we don't necessarily go off a cycle. What we're seeing is our hot mix is oxidizing, seems to be oxidizing a lot faster, and we don't know if that's due to RAP or RAS or what, but if you wait a full 7-8 years, a lot of times you're beyond just a regular seal coat. So we try and arrest it early. So once we start seeing it oxidize to the point where it's dry, then we just put it on the program.
Okay, good. Okay, so David, you mentioned a 5-year cycle on seal coats. How does your district handle roads with multiple seal coats? In other words, you're just piling up 4 or 5 seal coats. Are y'all going to end up milling it, or are you going to seal it again? Do you have a program there?
Well, right now we haven't experienced that situation where we've had to come in there and mill off a roadway that had that many seal coats applied to it. I will say we do have a lot of roadways that are being reconstructed at this time. Some of our counties, it appears that, and looking at it from the last 2 years up 2 more years, Kaufman and Rockwall counties will nearly be all new roadways, and so through the Cat 1 contracts, I think that may have eliminated maybe some of the issues we've had there. Some of the other sections, we're just now in year 3 of our 5-year cycle, so we're not really have done this for very long, where we've had a build-up that this question is alluding to. So from my experience, no, we haven't had to go in there and mill off and do an inlay on any of these roadways to date, due to 5 or 6 seal coats being on.
Gotcha. Okay. Carl? Did
Brown,
you experience this?
yes, it's interesting that question was in there. We do experience this in Brownwood, been seeing it quite a bit more, I think, since the 2011 summer that we had. We're starting to see quite a bit of rutting around the district. You know, our district is primarily a seal coat district. We don't do a whole lot of hot mix overlays. We have probably done more in the last couple of years than we have in many years. But, you know, an advantage to having several seal coats for us is we can come in and do centerline rumble strips milled in, and because if you get enough seal coats, then you can bring that in and do it. But yet we're starting to see the rutting. We're starting to see the edge line build up. So what I'm trying to do now is bring in some milling and hit the spots that are the worst. We did quite a bit of milling a couple months ago, taking that edge line hump off to try to drain some water, and then come back with a level up. And we do quite a bit of level up, blade level up. So we're doing rut fill with blade level up. We tried rut fill with microsurface for a few years. And came back and seal coated on top of that, and we're seeing quite a bit of potholing and seal coats releasing from the microsurface, so it's kind of causing me some problems right now. So we've stopped doing that, but really blade level up is if you can cover all the miles, blade level up is the best way to go. We don't have a whole lot of money for overlays, so we're just going to have to mill it and blade level up rut fill, but we are seeing quite a bit of running.
You keep looking at me every time you say you don't have any money.
You're sharp, Mike.
Tomas?
We don't, like I said, we don't have much of a rutting issue, and 4 or 5 seal coats on some of these rural FM roads is all they're ever going to get. So we hardly ever go in there and take any of this seal coat off. We seal it again. Never been an issue. The only time it does become an issue is when you do a rehab, and then you have a asphalt layer that's bigger than your base layer. So then we deal with it then, but not in the seal coat program.
Okay. All right. David, how do y'all handle intersections? Do you seal on your seal coat program? Do you seal through them, or what are you doing with your intersections?
If we're outside of town, we're going to seal through them. Typically, we haven't experienced any issues with doing that. In town, we have some that are questionable, and there's just some sections in town just aren't seal coat candidate roadways anyway. And so what we'll do is our maintenance will go in there with because even in the contract that we have for seal coat prep, we have other bid items for milling and inlay there as well. So if we have a certain section of a roadway that's in town, then the section office has that capability to use that to correct those locations. But for right now, we're sealing through our intersections and don't seem to be having any issues with it.
Okay, good.
We're sealing through everything. We last 2 years we've done some asphalt rubber seal coats through town, and that's been very helpful. A little trouble with temperature this last year, but nonetheless, that's kind of been a better thing for us to do in the heavier traffic town sections is asphalt rubber. But we're seal coating through all the intersections.
I thought you were going to say you didn't have money to.
I'm saving that for the next question.
You know, we're trying to get away from seals in our large urban sections. We're looking for other things. In town there in Corpus, we've gone a lot to a Nova chip. We've gone to we're looking at, let's say, the Onyx and Bionyx products. At one time we did look at micro seals, but they do tend to trap water, so you know we've kind of gone away from that. So in the rural sections where we do a seal coat, we just seal through the intersections. We did a seal coat program one year where we didn't do the intersections, and you know we tried doing that in-house, and it really didn't make any sense because it puts our guys in the greatest danger, and we left a lot of orphans, so we'll never do that again.
Okay, good point.
It will be your cheapest PM though to go in there and do those intersections. Fight it with a little lime water if you have to, but that sure is going to save you on the long end from having to go in there and rehab an intersection for omitting it.
That's good. Okay. Biggest challenges. What are your biggest challenges in your district in preparation and resurfacing program?
We have a lot of clay soils, which gives us problems. There's times that I've seen that whether it's drought or heavy rain, it seems like it happens every year due to some reason, but we can come through there and do our seal coat prep, and we're several months out and we go and drive it, and then we may have a quarter point failure for whatever reason, so then we have to go back out there. So our soils cause us some problems with that. And one of the other things that we have is going in, and if you're doing a lot of full depth hot mix, it tends to cause problems later on, because you truly have to keep your flexible pavements flexible, and it seems like you have to keep your maintenance sections where they can perform maintenance. So once you start down that path of doing a plug and chug or a full depth hot mix section, you lose that capability for your in-house people to go out there and do that work. So any failure that's there, you've got to call out a contractor to fix that, and then that has to cure and before you put a seal on it. And so there's issues like that we run into. So with that standard that I alluded to earlier, if we have to come in there and do a bow mag, do a deep distress, and we encounter there may be a roadway that we have 8 inches of mix, we've got a disclaimer there on the notes that pretty much says if the contractor can't achieve a maximum of a 50-50 blend, then he's to notify the area engineer. Then we have a flex base item for them to deliver it to the roadway. So that way, if we had to pull out some of that additional flex base where we find those isolated pockets, then we have the capabilities to fix that, keep it flexible, and then keep going. But it seems like our soils give us a lot of problems in every county except for Denton. Denton's pretty good with this on our soils.
Okay. Carl?
Last couple of years, we've had heavy spring rain, and it's caught up with us on some culvert work that we need to do. Several culvert failures that the guys have had to replace themselves, so that's kind of been a challenge on trying to get our preparation work done. As I said before, Thanksgiving's our goal. So with the extra rain that we've had, especially this summer, we may not make the Thanksgiving. We may be a little deeper into the winter finishing up. One of the other things that kind of affects us is work that we would normally do in the winter time. If we have a heavy winter season and we're doing a lot of emergency response with winter weather, then that kicks them out of being able to do some of that wintertime work, so then that pushes it into the spring, summer. So it kind of compounds itself over a heavy winter as well, trying to get the winter work done in the summer because we couldn't get it done in the winter. One problem that we had that I think we have resolved now, but it's been a challenge for us for some reason, trying to get LRA in a timely manner for us in Brownwood's been difficult. And we put in the order, it's supposed to be here by this date. Well, it's 45 days, 60 days late in a lot of cases. So we've gone to the hot mix cold laid, and I think that's going to pretty much solve our problem. The guys are liking it. With the excuse me, with the cold laid, have to make sure I get it down so it can cure before summer seal coat. The LRA is a little more forgiving that way. If you run late, you're using your LRA because you're going to seal it sooner. So if they're using the hot mix cold laid, they need to get it down early in the fall. Thanksgiving, really after Thanksgiving, they're kind of using the LRA more than they are any cold laid for that matter. But that's last couple of years, that's been our
Biggest challenge?
Yes, sir.
I thought for sure you were going to say lack of maintenance monies.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was it.
He
Yeah.
disappointed everybody. He built that up.
He served it. He served it up.
Well,
Our issues are about the
pretty
same.
sharp. He knows.
Our issues are the same. We got the heavy clays, a lot of shrink swell, availability of materials. You hit it right on the head. We are having a lot of trouble getting our materials in, and it's delaying us, of course. One thing that we were seeing a lot of, we're not seeing it as much now, is the tremendous amount of turnover we had. We had a lot of turnover on our northern sections, well over 50%. And of course, when you have that amount of turnover, you lose a lot of expertise. So, like I said, we had to move a lot of sections up north to backfill some of their operations. But I think now our biggest problem is availability materials.
So which materials in particular?
LRA.
All right. So we still got 5 minutes. So you got the yield sign up there.
Carl's ready to answer any questions y'all may have.
Questions from the audience? Yes, sir, Steve.
Steve from Odessa District. I've got a couple of questions. First of all, what kind of criteria you use to, I guess this is to Carl and Tomas, to select a hot rubber seal part of your program? And the other question would be to anybody up there, is anybody considered using the thin overlay mixture for your preventive?
Repeat the question.
Okay, so the questions are, what criteria we're using for a hot rubber seal, and then have we considered using a thin overlays? Is
Thin
that right?
overlay mixture, yeah,
Yeah.
Tom.
Primarily town sections for the hot rubber, turning traffic volumes higher than what we have outside of town on the rural roads. Cost is higher, so we're just going to use it where we get the most benefit out of it. And we have done some thin overlay mixes, and it's been very successful for us.
Good, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Tomas?
Hot rubber seal, we generally use those on our higher volume roadways. We have used them on US 77, US 281. When we do the hot rubber seals, we generally spec out a higher grade of rock, a B plus type rock. Again, we try and limit our hot rubber seals, like I said, to our higher volume roadways, which need some PM, whether it's oxidized hot mix, they're not showing a lot of distress. The roadway's still pretty true. We use the hot rubber seals on those. We have looked at laying down some thin hot mix sections. Our contractors are not very familiar with doing that. We have a very good history with NovaChip, and we have contractors that are very familiar with laying down NovaChip. We've had some sections in town there that have been down for over 12 years and still retain their color, have good friction. So we primarily have moved more toward a NovaChip rather than a thin overlay.
David?
No comment on that question.
No comment? All right. Any other questions? Jesse?
Is there any difference in the selection process or criteria between your construction seal code and your RMC seal code?
Did everybody hear the question?
Go ahead and repeat it because the
Okay.
recording.
Oh, okay. So the question is there any difference in the selection criteria for his Cat 1 or his construction seal coat versus his routine maintenance or maintenance seal coat?
Roadway selection or material selection? Or both, either.
Yeah.
Since we're on a 5-year cycle, we looked at every road that we had and tried to get it on, programmed in. We'd like to have an equal burden for every section. Sometimes that's hard to do. So yes, there are some years that some sections will have a couple more roads than some of the other sections, but trying to get it into that 5-year cycle, then we really haven't put any favoritism on one program or the other.
Well, our cycle times are different. So on our maintenance roads, we're going to be in the 8 and 9 year range. On the other roads, we'll be in the 7. Interstates on 6. So that's as far as condition of the roadway. You know, we don't have enough money to get them all in the same cycle. So I guess in some senses we do kind of separate conditions based on type of road, but trying to get it in each the individual cycle types for roadway is really the only differentiation for us, basically.
Well, like I mentioned, we have a seal coat matrix selection that we do in-house. When we get our candidate list built and we rate all our roadways, then we break out our higher volume roadways. Those will generally go to a hot rubber seal. And then, of course, we pull out all the functional class 6, and everything else just gets slotted into Cat 1 or RMC.
Okay. So guys, if you have any closing comments, you're about free from this panel. David, we'll start with you.
seal coat's one of the cheapest PMs that you can do to restore your pavements back up to where they need to be. I think by giving our sections the option to use the different items for 351 that we have, it kind of puts control into their hands to say this is the best method that we need to apply on this roadway. It's been very successful for us the last 3 years. So it's money well spent to have a good, I mean, we do the Cat 1 and the 13045 seal coat, our FC6 roadways, I guess about a $2 to $2.5 million a year. And our Cat 1 can range anywhere from 11 to 13. So it's money well spent to preserve your payments early, to push that rehab contract further down the road.
That's a good point. I'll reiterate what he's saying. You know, crack seal and seal coat are the two cheapest PMs you can do. We've had discussions in our district over the years. You know, we've got a road slated to be sealed, and you look at that road, you drive that road, and you're thinking, you know what, we can probably let this thing go another couple of years. But the next thing you know, you're pushing a bunch of them, and then you're not able to catch up. So that's one reason why we're trying very hard to stick to our cycles. Works well for Brownwood, and you know, go ahead and do that preventative maintenance on it, and then you don't have to come back to it as often with more expensive repair.
Of course, I'm a big fan of seal coats. You know, it improves your skid, improves everything else, the look of the road, the striping, everything else. So, you know, we try and marry that with our Cat 1 program for overlays. You know, we generally have an underseal that goes along with every overlay. Well, if we do our seal coat 2 or 3 years in advance and keep that thing nice, then we can forego the underseal and just do a straight overlay. So it ends up saving money on Cat 1, and we can then turn that into another seal coat somewhere down the road. So.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, we're out of time. One quick. Is it quick? What?
Any consideration ever given in certain areas to the size of the aggregate for, say, bicycles and things like that?
So the question is do y'all consider the aggregate size for bicycle lanes? David?
Yes, we do. I guess our county that has here recently given us the most, I guess, been more vocal about seal coats on those roadways is, thank you, is, you know, it's Denton County. And definitely we're not going to use a grade 3 aggregate on anywhere that they want to use a bicycle. We prefer to put a grade 4 on everything. But, I mean, I know grade 5, you're getting kind of small and you're not getting a lot of oil down on your pavement. And if you're trying to do something to liven a pavement back up, if it's dry, then I mean, a grade 5 is not going to buy you much time on that. But yes, we have looked at that. Yes, sir.
We're primarily a grade 4 seal coat district. We do have some grade 3s that we'll throw in there, but I don't know of any bicycle lanes that we actually have in Brownwood. I'm looking for help from the audience. So,
well, if you had some, you'd know about it.
I need some more money to have a bicycle lane.
Tomas?
Yeah, we do have a bicycling community that's pretty vocal in Corpus. So we primarily use a grade 4 rock. If we have to, if it is a designated bike lane, we'll come in there and shoot a grade 5 on top of it, seat it in the grade 4. We've also done some fog seals on our shoulders rather than seal coat, maybe with a TRMSS to alleviate some of the bicycle concerns.
All right, thank y'all.